What's up, everyone? Thanks for stopping by my channel, Esteemed Queen and Mentality. Be sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below so that way you get to know when I post all of my tea talks. I hope everyone is doing well, swell, thriving, and surviving. Child, the heat has broke, okay? Water is running like cats and dogs. Do you hear me? So I hope everyone's definitely trying to be safe and check on someone. You know what I'm saying? But needless to say, what is today? Today's Tuesday. So I'll probably post this maybe Wednesday or so. But needless to say, to my new subscribers, hello. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, of course. Fill my cup and now fill yours. And for all my returning subscribers, welcome back in the house. All right. So go ahead, get your water, get your wine, get whatever it is that you sipping on. Get it and bring it close. I'm not going to tarry too long because I have other things to do and places to be. Okay. Haven't heard that in a while. That's a flashback for sure. But needless to say, get whatever it is you sipping on and bring it close. I just want to have a little tea talk. And it's so funny because this tea talk is a combination of a couple of things, okay? All sponsored by my real life. So please sip slow. I don't need you choking on anything. I don't need you busting out laughing. You know, put your earbuds in. I don't need you getting in trouble at work. Don't blame this on me. All right. just know that, you know, the higher power has a sense of humor. So this tea talk is a combination of a couple of different things. And a lot of times, in order for you to make it through those like confusing times, you know, when like people just really be trying your intelligence and you gotta breathe about that thing, this is one of them type tea talks. Okay, now the interesting thing about this tea talk is you're about to learn a whole new different definition of talking. Okay, because see, there's a difference between talking to say something, conversing to say something, and you just saying things just to be heard. Okay. One actually has a purpose and the other is just totally obnoxious. There's no way around it. It's just, you got to be able to know their language when you come upon them. Okay, you come upon them, you meet them, you greet them, whatever the case may be. However they become perpendicular to your journey and the time of day that you were meant to meet them, we need to have a tea talk about those folks. Okay, we need to understand their lingo but not really be in the loop of what they talking about. And that's really just for your own sanity. Again, you breathing now. You breathing. You got to inhale deep and breathe out slow. These are those types of people. It's just like my dad says. My dad says, you know, ain't nothing worse than a person with an empty wagon. You can hear them coming a mile ahead. 2, 5, 10. It don't matter. You can hear them. But someone who has one that isn't, you know what I'm saying, and they got some junk in their trunk. They got something going on for them. You know what I'm saying? They're working towards something. They have something to show as to, you know what I'm saying, what they're working towards, you know. Someone who don't have nothing back there, oh, please, next time you come across someone coming in and out of your community, listen to if they go over the speed bump and there's a sound. Typically, you gotta have some weight on it to not have any sound. But needless to say, my dad used to say that. You know what I'm saying? Be about something. Have something. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing worse than a motherfucker with an empty trunk looking to a flea market shop off your shit. Pretty much. That's how I put it. Okay? My dad's old school. Shouts out to him. I think he's a subscriber. But, I'm not gonna bust his bubble, but if he is watching, I didn't figure it out. So anyway, So yeah, ain't nothing worse than that. It's like, oh Lord, like like they coming empty-handed. They come with they trunk, the car pristine clean, bitch, and it's because they didn't already got it memorized verbatim as to how they gonna shift and put shit in they shit to go on by their business. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But ain't nothing worse than an empty wagon. It's nothing worse than someone who's just loud and talkative just to be heard, and for someone to normalize whatever it is, you know, or however it is that they are. There's a lot of normalization going around, and it's because no one wants to call anybody out on manners. No one wants to call anybody out on facts and tales. All right. Nothing worse than someone just sucking the cool air out the room with their hot ass breath, talking God knows only they know. Hell, they not even on their own brain. And yet, they'll be the ones who feel like they are the biggest and baddest and cannot be slayed. And a lot of times, these type of people, they don't necessarily be on the shorter bus. Okay? They more like, they like to touch the elevator button but don't want to go in the elevator and go up anywhere. They one of those type folks where it's just like, you know, ooh, it lights up. That's it. You feel me? So when they do start to create a dialogue with you and you're looking at them as if like they're an extra letter in the alphabet you just found out about, that is normal. All right. For the ones who thought it wasn't, I'm with you. You know, it's just like somewhere, like what happened? Like I just want to know IEP wise, just what happened. So, you know, a lot of times these days and times the eyes are so, there's way more baffled and amazed than what the brain is like fascinated. So of course, continuing to hit the button whether it glows or you don't feel like the elevator's coming to you, but yet it's clear and you can see it, and yet you just keep pushing that button. You know, it's normalized to be absent-minded. And these be the main absent-minded folks that are shells of people. You know, there are people in the world that you just can't save. And you not so much have to be okay with that. It's just what it is. All right. But we need to get into the lingo of these folks. Now, of course, there's a difference between telling truths and fibs just as much as there's truth between telling facts and tales. All right. Someone who don't got shit going on and just want to be there loud and everywhere but can't read the room, let alone read a Dr. Seuss book, they have a certain language. Okay, them, their hot ass breath, all this Nevada heat and shit. Yes, they have their own language. So funny. A little story time. Growing up, right? Of course, I don't talk about it a lot because when you heal past things, you know, you pull from your memory decks when necessary. And this certain time, I had to laugh making this video because when I was growing up, believe it or not, I have a brother, and when I was growing up, and my parents split. You know, my mom, like, she was already, like, attitudey, narcissistic. But it went to, like, the 10th degree when my parents split. So, you know, knowing what I know now about, like, just recovering from any type of abuse, you know, it's easy to have someone hold your faults when they don't know boundaries, right? So when we were younger, my brother, he used to, oh my God, my mom comes, he's running to his room. He's literally about to damn near like put the chair up underneath the door, booby trap, all types of stuff. Like, that's how quick and fast, like, he ran, I ran when it came to, like, my mom being around. It was just like one of those big old dragons, right? Just, oh, well, we need to seek shelter immediately from this woman. All right. And mind you, I'm not trying to make light of the memory of what happened. I'm just trying to relate to you at least the funny part in it, so then that way, you know, you have something to go off of. So anyhow, so I mean, when I say we used to duck, run, hide for cover, you would thought we were in witness protection, bitch, in our house. Like, how to go seek where? Okay, how to go seek where? We found crooks and crevices I didn't even know. All right. So one summer, my mom was like 38 hot about something. We don't know. I mean, she sleep wrong. It's our fault. All right. That's a narc trait. So he sees her coming through my window and he's like, oh Lord, mom's home early. And I'm like, shit. You know, I'm the same way. Shit, I'm off work today. How you think I feel? You know what I'm saying? So remember that TV show? Remember that TV show back in the day called Dragon Tales? Okay. So she comes, we hear her coming up the stairs. And so my brother goes, he takes his security lock off of the door. He runs past my room. My room is first. He runs past my room and he said, well, here comes the dragon lady. So when she gets in there, I mean, she's just throwing a fit. She fussing, she cussing. You know, don't get me wrong, house clean, pristine. That's the only way to keep her off our back. But needless to say, she get to talking, she get to loud mouthing, she get to saying things. And as kids, you know, that power, that dominance had us feeling as if like we were the issue and we did something wrong. All right. At the same time, when you do something that you feel like will be something that's like approvable or seen as, you know, green light and good to go, 2 thumbs up, it wasn't enough. So then that's when we have the actual lingo of how these mofos talk. Okay? And that's dragon tales. They don't tell no truths. They don't tell no facts. At the end of the day, it's borderline gaslighting. All right? It's borderline gaslighting to the ones who are aware of themselves, and it's total acceptance for someone who doesn't have boundaries and don't understand them, or at a young age they're not being taught or mentored to have them, to go ahead and start establishing them, because then by the time, you know, you get older, when we got older, I don't talk to her at all, because there has to be a boundary in place. We can't continue to do certain things if what we're trying to do is get away from the fire that they spit, the fire that they create, the fire that they spread. Okay, that fire can be misery, that fire can be bitterness, that fire can be anything that makes it so you cannot enjoy anything in life, let alone if it's a bowl of mac and cheese or you have a pet. Everything that you touch is just going to spread. And it's because, just like wildfires, bushfires, they all spread. If it's dry enough and hot enough and the sun is close enough to the earth, some shit will spark. It does not help when you have other things to factor in. Someone beating down your self-esteem, someone making you not feel valuable, you not understanding your worth, your power, etc. All these things come with dragon tales, and it's all gaslighting. Gaslighting and a couple of other things. So let me get right into it. So I done already gave y'all the story time, he, ha ha. So let's get into it. These are the things you have to realize, okay? they're everywhere. Okay, again, they're not on the short bus. They're playing with the elevator button. Okay, they're playing with the elevator button, whereas to step inside, and you're like, but they're like, oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. And they'll have their reasons as to why they don't want you to, which leads me into the first one. All right, they love for you to question yourself. They will have you question yourself, and they feel no type of remorse, no type of, bad feeling about looking at you feel crazy. Imagine looking from a third point of view. You running in zigzag because you trying to outrun a dragon who's spitting fire at you every time you turn around. In third person, hell yeah, you'll look crazy. You'll look crazy, which will be understandable, because if you don't have any boundaries, of course. But if you do, that's just it's going to be a no-fly zone. No ham, no ma'am, no turkey. It's not going to work for you. All right. Like, they do this again. They do this in denial, meaning like if you were to bring it back up, like literally they will feel as if like they're having an out of body experience, and they will have you looking like you're in the Twilight Zone. No fault to you, but all faults on you. You feel me? So I know I did a gaslight video about that, as well as I did a video on narcissistic recovery, which was, I think it was realize, right? So anyhow, yeah, realize, red flags, hit on it a little bit as well. But the second thing I want to say about that is that nothing directly attacks our spirituality. Like, our spirituality is a house in a gated community, right? You gotta have entry, you have to have permission to have entry, or you have to stop at the gate. And when you stop at the gate, it's per approval if you gain access or not. Our neighbors is our mental and our emotional. Because when those two start dancing with one another, and then they get off beat, and then now y'all can't tell who's the lead and who's following, that's when someone literally just drives through the gate. They didn't stop. They didn't respect the boundary. They didn't acknowledge what you say. They didn't acknowledge the person that's at the front to check ID and call and say, hey soul, does your emotions and your mental, does it feel up to today dealing with such and such? Instead of respecting, acknowledging, and accepting, they just run right through your shit. They don't care about no insurance. They don't care about you having anyone in your corner or you just having a real strong backbone. They're coming. So when we don't establish certain things, we have to go back a couple of steps so we can reinforce some shit. All right. This is why I say your spirituality is in a gated community. And when things start to become chaotic between the mind and the feelings, that's when the spirituality becomes attacked. Because a lot of what we do, I would say everything that we do, it's an investment. You have to deal with it mentally, and you have to deal with it physically properly and emotionally. You deal with all, you use those three things to be able to keep your soul at peace, to keep your spirituality at peace. If you take care of an issue or a problem and you find a solution, does it bother you anymore? No. Your spirituality, your soul is at ease. You took care of it. Between your head and your heart, you took care of it. Hopefully more head than heart, right? But what about those things that eat at us? What about those things that we feel guilt or shame about, or we can't find a solution to or a solution for? Those things will nag at you, right? Yeah, because they're disrupting your soul and your spirituality. Like, your spirituality has its own lifeline compared to the mind and the feelings. They work on one, right? So, hey, that's how that works hand in hand. So, if you get around to it after this video, you definitely, oh shit, look, people looking for me. You definitely need to look at that Realize video, because just like this one, that one is just as deep. And then, of course, last but not least, I need everyone to understand, all right, as a teacher, this is just me making sure that we all are on the same bus, all right? Cycles are circles, okay? And circles repeat. So when we have weak boundaries, we listen to these dragon tales, we tolerate the heat, we take the accountability all when we don't need to, it creates a disaster internally. And that is the target. That is the goal. So when you hear someone, literally, just give them that look, you know, and then just turn your head to the side. Understand, it is not your responsibility to have someone else think straight. It is not your responsibility to exert your common sense to think for someone else. And it is not your responsibility to assume a gas light is great to put a match to. All right? And when I say match meaning you're matching exactly what the hell they want out of you. They want you to listen, and they want you to be vulnerable. They want you to have your guard down. They even want you to even accept little things that eventually will become big things. And not only will they be tolerated, there'll be a normal. Again, there's a normalization thing going on around here, and I don't really think it's cute, fun, or sexy. All right, gravity can hit everything else, but the mind will always stay afloat if you let it. All right, so we need to pour into that more than us making emotional invested decisions, because what you may not care for today, it may not be your flavor in 2 years. You feel me? And instead of you accepting and realizing that things change, people, places, things, feelings, minds, and all, instead of you accepting and acknowledging that, you feel bad about it because you've been stuck walking in the same spot. This is what I mean about dragon tales. It's very deep. It is very deep. And the more we don't realize our own autonomy, the less power we will have, because we're going to give it all away. And that's not what this channel is about. It's about getting it back. It's about you strengthening it. It's about you knowing, with reinforcements, don't come in my gated community and no one warranted you to be here. No one summoned you to be here. No one granted you permission like 7-Eleven to be here. Okay? To be here is an honor. And for it to be an honor, you got to have value that's worth and deemable of my time. That's a boundary. So, by all means, y'all tell me down below. You know, I'm pretty sure we all have heard a dragon tale or two. Trust me, I have heard my share, child. At the end of the day, giants only get but so tall and so big, you know. And in due time, again, there's a cycle. So what may be their flavor now may not be their flavor moving forward, because guess what? Change. Time changes. All right? And with time, change and change it, and you change in time. But needless to say, if you grasp the fact of what you're keeping as company, you will understand how far you can go and foresee, or you can very well see yourself slipping back into a low vibration. All right, how you can tell when you start to tense up when you're around people, and you start to really just keep looking at people like you got a question mark as a nose, then that lets you know it's time to go, you know. But that's totally up to you. And if you stay, hell, you may like it. And that's totally up to you too, honey. What you do don't make me poop. And what I poop, you don't eat. It's okay. So y'all tell me down below, you know, what's your scenario of a dragon tail? I like to read those type of things. But needless to say, be sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. You fill my cup, I fill yours. For the newcomers, that means hit the like button and share. And until next time, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.